Welcome again to the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. I am the Blue Collar Psychiatrist, and today we're going to discuss something that is really worth thinking about. And that is, you never know what someone is going through in their life. You may think that you know everything about that person, but they're not going to advertise some of the troubles that they have, the problems that they may be having with their spouse or their children, or their problems that they may be having in their job. They are not going to advertise this unless maybe you're a good friend. But they don't walk around with the sign saying, "I am having problems with my spouse." It doesn't happen that way. And you have to realize that people may act in a certain way, maybe an inappropriate way, but you don't really know the origin of that. For example, someone that you're talking to and having a good conversation with may all of a sudden explode in anger, just inappropriate, out of nowhere. And when I see that, I figure that since there's nothing right there in that discussion, going back and forth between you and that other person, that would trigger that's coming from somewhere else. And the somewhere else is often internal issues that they are not talking about, that they're not sharing with you. And that's why I say you have to be very, very careful not to rush to judgment yourself, because you know that something else is behind their outbursts, their emotional outbursts. If that's true, that we don't know what's going on in someone else's mind, then does it not make sense that we should give them the benefit of the doubt? Which means we should be kind and nice to everyone. Now, I know that sounds like pie in the sky, and I'm not that kind of person. If you have viewed any of my videos, you know that. But I think that when something comes out of the clear blue, like I'm describing, you have to realize that something else is going on in their life. And they're, as I said before, they are not going to tell you about it, generally, unless they're really, really, really close friends. And we see this every day in life. We see just explosive anger. Oftentimes it comes out in anger. And the anger is coming from their own issues, their own problems in their own lives. And this is a situation that you have to say to yourself, okay, this does not make any sense. Again, there was nothing in their conversation that you were having that would cause this person to explode the way they did. So you know that happens. This even happened to me. I was talking to a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, and this was about several years ago. And all of a sudden, I exploded. He tries to tell me that I should call a certain person, a woman who has moved away and who basically became angry at me for reasons I'm not quite sure about. And he said to me, why don't you call her up? And he kept on hounding me about it. Call her up. And finally, I just exploded. Now, what he said was really out of bounds. He should have said, if he believed that, that's fine. But you know what? You can say it once, and then that's the end of it. But he kept on hammering this to me, and finally, I did explode. When I say explode, I mean emotionally explode. I started yelling at him. I said, man, mind your own damn business. But I said it in a very loud voice. And after, I caught myself, though. And I said, you know what, John, I just lost it for a minute there. I just did it, and I apologize. He said, look, I know you, blue collar, for a number of years, and I know that you're not that kind of person. I know that there's got to be something bothering you about that situation we were talking about, and I accept your apology. But it's just, I know you, so I know that's not your normal way of acting, and I was very grateful that I did not break up a relationship because I had an emotional volcano explode right out of my inner body. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to always assume, unless there's some very obvious problems, very obvious issues, very horrific behaviors, always assume that everybody, for that matter, that everybody is going through something that they are not sharing with you. You may not even know them, but that everybody as a human being is going through some kind of problem, some kind of travail, some kind of issues that are really aggravating them, but they don't feel that it's appropriate to share. And maybe it's not appropriate to share with someone that you don't know well. So always assume that everybody has something going on inside their body, but they're not going to share it with you. Always try to assume the best, but be on the lookout for the worst. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you to drink. I drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time.